And good late morning, everyone. It is Eric Allard here, joined by Don Dantzler, Tilson Live at a slightly different time today.
Yes.
So thank you for bearing with my schedule. Welcome, Don. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Everybody jump in here. Tell us where you're watching from. We'd love to hear where you're doing this from. It's here we go, California. All right.
California.
Bright and early for Runner Dude. Hope you got your run finished.
Yes.
Before we started out there. So yeah, y'all hop in, tell us where you're watching from. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook. So hop on in here, tell us where you're from. We are going to be talking about, of course, as we always do, all things build on your land. I am one of your hosts, Eric Allard, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, joined as we always are by our director of marketing, Mrs. Dawn Dantzler.
Hi, everyone.
Dawn, what do we got? What do we got on deck today?
So actually, Karen, who's tuning in from Angleton, we're going to talk about her home. So she built a beautiful Wimberley in the Angleton area that we just had to share with all of you.
I think it has the most organic reach, if I've seen that right.
It's pretty close. Yeah, it was very gorgeous home. Everybody really loved all the pictures that we showed. So
Sugarland, Texas,
did a great job.
I saw Pearland. So so thank you, Mrs. Edmondson, for letting us share this. We're really excited. Thank you for choosing us, obviously. Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Thank you, Brett. Thank you for your service. Columbia. Isn't that one of your favorite places ever, Dawn? Is Columbia, South Carolina? Is there a school there that?
I'm sorry, Brett. I'm very sorry that you're.
So those of you who don't know,
that.
Behind her, Dawn went to Clemson, which for those of you who may be in Texas and understand the Texas A&M rivalry, University of South Carolina and Clemson are also quite the rivals. So
yes.
Anyway, but they still play, or I guess they didn't this year. But
didn't this year? No, SEC said no. So
SEC said no. We're not having any of that.
We'll resume again this year. Yeah.
Well, very cool. We got guys hop in here. Tell us where you're watching from. Obviously, we're going to talk about this beautiful home that they built down there in Bailey's Prairie out towards Sally Lake. So we're really excited to show you guys that. And then
Brett shares my opinion.
Yep. So obviously, we will answer any and all questions about building on your land, customization, financing the deal. We will also, if you want to, we can talk about prices. We can talk about material shortages. We can talk about strain on the labor markets. We can talk about global macroeconomic factors. I'm probably not as well versed in those, but I know enough to get us in a lot of trouble. So anyway,
yeah.
Look at that. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Credit where credit's due. All right. So let's see what else. Highlands, Texas. I say, well, Robert, hang in there as long as you can, man. We'll be here as long as people are willing to ask us questions. Anyway, without some further ado, so y'all type your questions in the chat as you always do. Dawn and Kelsey and Nick will be monitoring the chat. So very excited to show you this beautiful Wimberley customized that we built down south. So first of all, Dawn, tell us a little bit about the Wimberley. Where is it and where can people see it?
So the Wimberley is one of our model homes in our Bernie Design Center. Very popular home because it's just got that really pretty combination of stone and board and batten that is so popular, and just a great layout. It comes standard with a 2-car garage and a nice storage area in it as well. And like our model in Bernie, the Edmondsons chose to add the upstairs bonus space as well when they built this home. So it's just a really nice layout.
So about how big is this home? How many bedrooms? What do we got going on? Quite a versatile design.
So the standard floor plan, square footage on the layout, it comes without that bonus space. You're looking at about 2,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. And like I said, it's got that really nice oversized 2-car garage, drop zone as you come in from the house, and just a really, really good layout. It's got great raised ceilings in the family room and in the kitchen area with the cedar beams. It's just nice. And true split bedroom.
Yeah. True split floor plan. So the master on one side, the spare bedrooms on the other. They share a Jack and Jill. This is really a popular request. Just this one large open space, and it truly is that way. Like there's no walls in here whatsoever. So your family, your kitchen, your dining, all of that hanging out is done in one gigantic rectangle of space that has beautiful fixed windows looking to your property on the back. And so we're pretty stoked to be able to show you guys what that really looks like. Of course, we've got virtual tours of our model home on the website that you can check out, all the different customizations you can do. But yeah, the size of this drop zone, which is completely and totally separate from the utility space, this is a great rural design. And for whatever reason, we get a lot of requests. So what is the appeal here, Dawn, of the access from?
Yeah, so a lot of people ask for that access directly to the laundry room from the master suite. So you're not, trucking laundry all the way across the home. So when we can do it, we like to make sure that we include that door.
Yeah, that's really it's a really neat feature. It's kind of maybe confusing if someone's not walking you through the model the first time. But man, is it super, super convenient, particularly, empty nesters, something like that, or that there's no reason, like you said, to walk all the way across the house to get your dirty clothes cleaned and whatnot. So anyway, well, without further ado, what in the world did these folks do to this home?
So they made a lot of changes to personalize the home. The first thing that you'll see is they reversed the floor plan. So we actually built it as a mirror image of what you would see if you toured it in Bernie. They also went ahead and converted that study area into a true guest bedroom and modified it a little bit from the pre-designed custom option to take the bathtub out and make that just a shower.
Gotcha.
In that space. So it's a large oversized shower with no bathtub. They did add the upstairs bonus room.
Yeah.
So that adds the staircase downstairs and then also adds a bonus room and a powder room upstairs for you. So you have that extra space to kind of spread out and, let kids or whatever do their thing up there. It makes a good hobby room too. And then they also took that garage and expanded it a little bit more by adding a third car bay.
Very nice.
So that's going to be very useful to them. They also did some changes in the master bathroom that we'll show you, but they did some rearranging. The Wimberley comes standard without a tub in the master because we have a lot of people opting to take that out nowadays, not wanting it. The Edmondsons wanted to go ahead and put one into there. So there was some rearranging to get that large soaker tub in the master bathroom. And so we rearranged some cabinetry and things like that to accommodate to that. They also added some double doors, another access to a covered porch on the back, and put in the fireplace.
Yeah. So again, kind of all working within the footprint of the home. The only real footprint change I see is a third car bay, which we have that as a custom option to begin with. So they were really able to work within the footprint of the home and not make a whole bunch of alteration. And most of these are custom options that you can see on the website.
There is one more change that wasn't noted here. Sorry, I'm noticing. If you look at bathroom 2, in the standard layout, this is actually set up as a Jack and Jill, where each of the 2 bedrooms would have a sink access. They actually converted it into more of a hallway bath. So there is one vanity space and they added a door coming in from the hallway. So this actually serves as another guest bathroom.
Right. And a little bit of a more universal design over here. You've got more space to move around in case someone more elderly is going to be there. We've seen other customers do this as well. More space for moving around in that secondary bathroom. So really, really cool changes. Love the way they incorporated them. But that's not even the half of it, because they did some of the most beautiful color selections I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
When they were done customizing theirs, just a hair over 2,800 square feet. They went from 2.5 to 3.5, it's really 3 and 2 halves, but that math doesn't work anywhere except A&M. So, but there are 3 full baths in this one now and a half bath upstairs. The model typically has 2 full baths and 2 half baths. So they now have 3.5, but just really kind of cool. Now, what do we got going on here, Dawn?
So this is the front elevation of their home, and while they're near the coast in Angleton, they're not on the beach. So they really have picked out some color selections to really complement the surrounding area. So she's really in the color of the siding that they've picked are really kind of feeding off that Spanish moss that you see going on. So very, very good for the area. So you've got that that standard stone combination, and just a really great pick, I think, for the outside siding color.
Really, really beautiful. You can see we were just about to put the shutters on. That was what this is here for. So the shutters go on, a couple other pieces of board and bat, and then this thing's done. I can see we had to elevate it some because of where it's located. There's some really nice steps going up to the front with their flat work that they did. So really, really cool features that they did. Guys, keep asking your questions in the chat. We will pause here in just a second and answer your questions and move on. But we'll get the outside, take a look at it, and then we'll answer some questions maybe.
Yep. And then this is the side of the house showing where the garage doors are. So you've got the 2 garage door bays coming in, and you can see the window for the bonus room above. Because I do see a question from Shell asking if they were able to keep the bonus room upstairs and keep the cathedral ceiling. And yes, they do, because as you can see, that bonus room is over the garage, not the living room. So this is one plan where you can do that. That comes out a lot when people are asking about bonus rooms.
Yep. So we got our HVAC systems here. We've got our propane tank there, and you can see where it hooks into the house here. The trees are just gorgeous. I mean, these trees.
Yeah, it's a beautiful property.
Beautiful live oaks, and I think they're live oaks. Maybe Karen can correct us if they're not. Feel free to correct us. We have no problem being corrected.
Yes.
But yeah, just a really, really nice touch. And these are those windows, right?
And then there's the rear elevation where you can see that back porch.
The back porch there, you got in every single one of these, I think they're 5 foot by 5'6", something like that, that are open to that whole family dining kitchen space, just letting all that natural light pour in. And then, of course, here's your master suite over here with casement windows. And just trees galore. What a pretty piece of property.
Yeah, they picked a gorgeous property. And you can see that's kind of the view from the rear porch. They've got a lovely pond behind them happening. So it's just gorgeous. And you can see those are the French doors that go in.
I like that. I like the use of the French doors there.
Karen's saying the trees is what actually sold them on the lot. They're century oaks, 3 century oaks. So live oak that's over 100 years old.
I think so, yeah.
And then tons of other big trees. So it's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Well, thanks for letting us participate in that beautiful piece of property. That's an honor.
All
right. Absolutely. So Dawn, do we have any questions?
Let's see. Ruth is asking when we can see a future show on the Travis model. That's the one that she's going to build in Granbury. So we're waiting to get pictures of one that's completed. I know that we have a few under construction that we're just waiting on. In the meantime, we do have a virtual tour of the Travis on the website that you can look through. It's kind of it's a rendered version. So it's a computer rendering of what that home looks like, so you can get an idea. Dante is sharing that his stakeout is happening this week in Dripping Springs and is building a canyon. Which the canyon actually overtook the Angelina and the Gonzalez to be the number one plan last month. So.
And we just recently finished the tour of it, so that'll be. I know they're working on the video of that. Very cool, Dante. We love Dripping Springs, beautiful area. Can't wait to get started on that for you.
Awesome. Hector is asking about how Tilson is adapting to higher foundation needs after Hurricane Harvey. They'll need to be at least 6 feet higher than ground level.
Yeah, we do whatever the county requires, in the area. And there's some places that we can, and some places we really can't accommodate. The county is going to, the Office of Emergency Management for your county ultimately determines where that's going to be, because they're responsible to FEMA for protecting citizens against flooding. We do whatever the county requires. So we're not really doing anything different than we were before. It's just a lot of the counties are requiring higher start heights. Now, you talk about 6 feet higher. There's a couple of ways to do that. You could do that partially with a dirt pad and partially with slab. If the county will allow for that, that'd be probably the best way to do it. Another way to be some type of a raised floor foundation system would be another alternative. We start to get up that high, where your finished floor needs to be 6 feet higher. But yeah, suffice it to say, it changed a lot of things and made some property not quite as buildable as it used to be.
Yeah.
So, great question. Thanks, Hector.
Okay. Jackie is asking if we can talk about different options for leveling the lot and foundation and some of the cost associated, and how would she know if stairs will be required on her home?
Okay. Yeah. So there's kind of different ways that we'll try to walk you through how that goes when you're out on your piece of property during your site evaluation, your stakeout. The pricing is not typically done then, because typically the pricing is done in conjunction with the foundation that's designed by the engineer, because they ultimately will determine, based on what we're doing, how deep and wide those interior and exterior beams need to be.
Okay.
So that we may not be able to have an exact price right then and there, but we will have the exact price before you start construction. You'll know that. But depending on where you're building, Jackie, there's different allowances. Every single county has a little bit different, how high the slab starts, how much out of level is included in the base price, how wide and deep the beams are. And your sales consultant, I think Wendy, can walk you through that. But we don't really like the idea of kind of cutting. That is an option, but it's really not typically the best option. Because what we don't want to do is over time cause a flooding issue, a drainage issue. You don't ever want a situation created over time where water is running towards the house. There are some situations where we can cut and still establish positive drainage if the lot slopes enough and if there's enough space. We don't know if we're working with a 60 or 70 or 80 foot wide lot, or if we're working with 10 acres. Obviously, it's going to be easier to do with a larger piece of property. You've got more room to kind of work that land. Really, you're shaping and molding that land to accommodate rainwater. So, as far as cost goes, it can cost anything from nothing. In a lot of cases, what's included in our standard price is enough to cover. It's adequate. It doesn't cost anything additional. All the way to, tens of thousands of dollars. And we've seen properties that are 8, 9, 10, 13 feet out of level just over the footprint of the home. Obviously that's not included in the base price, because not everybody is quite that extreme. And so just really something in between there is what's realistic. But again, the most important part of the peace of mind is that you'll know before we ever drive a nail what exactly it's going to cost, and if there are options, what we recommend doing. But do know that it's not always going to be the cheapest route, because sometimes that's short-sighted, and doing it the cheapest way up front might cost you way more long term. We're trying to plan you living in this house for a long, long, long time, and we want to mitigate any kind of foundation failures over time. So I know it's a long answer, but thanks for asking, Jackie, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Aaron is saying he's planning to build on a lot in Lago Vista. At what point would we know the cost to build on a slope, since stakeout and soil test is after all details are set and the contract is signed? I think we addressed a lot of this. Speaking of large out of level, so for those of you who don't know, Lago Vista is kind of on the north end of Lake Travis. And yeah, the point where is basically once we have that site evaluation, the geotechnical investigation done, and the engineer foundation back, that's when we know. So we have to spend some money to find that information out. You got to spend. Anybody that can tell you they know exactly what's going to cost without spending any money is not telling you the truth, because they have to have a geotechnical investigation done to get you an accurate price. So, but it'll be before we start construction. So before the file is released to construction, we would know exactly what we're going to be doing and what that's going to cost. So, okay,
that's how we do it.
All right. Runner Dude is asking what can be done or is done in the building process to help address things like severe hailstorms, severe windstorms, et cetera, which are increasingly common in Texas. Okay, Eric seems to have frozen up on me. So let me, Runner Dude, I'm going to defer to Eric on this question. I know our homes are definitely built for where we are putting them, but as far as, I think, are you asking about during construction or after? But I will defer to Eric when he returns to us on that question. Let's see, Wendy, to add to the question about knowing if the home will need stairs at the entrance, how do we pick a lot that will minimize that? Will we bring my elderly parents to live with us and need to minimize stairs and steep ramps if possible? Some lots may look very flat, but in reality, they aren't. Yes, you're correct. Yeah, so a lot that looks flat could not be. So kind of look at what's happening with the houses nearby. and they can kind of give you a guidance if there are houses near your property. That's a good indication of what's going to happen. But you're going to want to look if the lot's not cleared, it is going to be a little tough. But if you can get your hands on some topography maps or things like that, you can kind of get an idea of what's going on, and we can also help you pick the best spot to do that. Let's see. Eric seems to be having problems, guys. So we are going to actually. Oh, there he is.
Well,
yeah.
I needed a nap. Just went and took a nap. No big deal. Sorry about that, folks.
Everybody is glad to have you back.
Oh. Yeah,
me especially.
Lost my connection there, and I'm hardwired at the global headquarters of Tilson. So luckily, I don't work here very often, so I'm like in the sales offices. Anyway, I know I was in the middle of answering a question, and I'm sure you handled it. So,
well, let me let you handle this one. Runner Dude is asking about what do we do in the building process to address things like hailstorms, windstorms, etc.
Yeah. So good news. By the way, I don't know they're any more common than they are. You just hear about them more because the news travels faster and there's internet. But I will also say that, we have builder's risk insurance on every house that's under construction for all kinds of things, including that. But fire, windstorm damage, hail damage, theft, all that stuff. And the good news is that's part of the price of the home. A lot of builders, they make the homeowner go get builder's risk insurance if you want to insure the build while it's under construction. Well, we carry our own general liability insurance, our own workman's compensation for our employees, and the builder's risk insurance. So all that stuff, if it's damaged and can't be used, we're going to replace it regardless. And then we make a business decision as to whether or not we're going to claim it under our builder's risk insurance policy. So, if the whole thing got knocked down in a hurricane for some reason, our builder's risk insurance would step in and make us whole. But at the end of the day, the customer's not going to have to worry about how that's handled. We carried the builder's risk insurance. So great question. And it was pretty rowdy last night in the hill country. Bernie, Pat was telling me that it got really rowdy.
Yes. Wendy was asking if there was any way to know if a house is going to need stairs. How does she pick a lot to minimize
Jackie
that risk?
The same thing. So there's some code compliance things. Like if you have more than a 30-inch fall from where the porch is to where the ground is, you're technically supposed to either have railing, a barrier, or stairs. But a barrier could just be you just block it off, where you can't get off of the porch from there. That's technically code compliant, but 30 inches is kind of that number. There's some things you can do. You can bring some material in and maybe make it a little less than 30, or we do offer, we have pricing for stairs and handrail, different things like that. We also have an option for customers to do their own, but it does have to be done prior to completion of the home. You won't be able to pass inspection without that being done. So if it is something you want to do yourself, you can. The stairs you're seeing on this home with Evans is not because the lot was so out of level. This was because we had to build the house up to mitigate against, they're a little bit more of a flatter area as you get down closer to the coast. So it was a totally different reason. But to minimize stairs, you just minimize where the doors are going on parts of the property where you may have a lot of out of level. That's really the only thing you can really do. But if we have to do it, we do it. It's no big deal.
Okay. Roberto is asking, he says he's had his second change of builder. Can we address these issues? What's happening? Yeah.
So Roberto, that's a great point. Thanks for asking. And the issues are workload. You just nailed it. So what we want to do is try to make sure that we don't have our building superintendents and their trade partners overloaded. So if we see that someone's the area, because we build on your land, we don't go pick the property. So we don't have a whole lot of forecasting to know where a little hot spot's going to pop up necessarily over maybe an 8 to 10 to 12 month period. And so what we'll do is as we get a number of jobs in a more concentrated area, we may take some of those jobs, those customers, and put them on another building superintendent so that they can give them closer attention. There's only so many hours in a day, and driving miles and miles is part of that time. And so we want to be sure that we give it to somebody who can spend more time on it. Now, fortunately, they're all trained the same way. They're all driving in Tilson vehicles. They work for Tilson Homes. They're not independent contractors. They're on the Tilson payroll. They're W-2 employees of ours. So they have, cell phones, iPads, trucks, gas cards, all issued by us. So they have, and they know what the expectations are from Justin Ordino and his team on meeting our expectations as well as customer expectations. But yeah, I mean, I genuinely sorry anytime that has to happen, but we'd rather do that than, keep putting jobs and jobs and jobs on a building superintendent who may not be able to make it as frequently as we'd like for him to. Great question.
Okay. Yeah, good question. Aaron is asking about the typical cost to extend the rear covered porch.
And it really depends, Aaron. It's based by plan. I mean, the custom options, we have pricing on that in all the sales offices, but it's right now it's close to about $80 a square foot or so, depending on the plan for extended covered porch, because we do it as part of the foundation. So it's not just, we don't just pour 4-inch concrete. It's designed as part of the slab with the rest of the engineer foundation design.
Okay. And then I'm going to get one last question before we go back into the presentation. Hector is asking, we purchased a survey during the buying of our property. How can we avoid having to get paid for another one?
Well, Hector, first of all, as long as we or a surveyor, somebody can locate those corner pins, you won't have to. If the survey is still, in good enough condition for us to read it, and we can locate the corner pins, it won't be an issue at all. You will still have to pay for a final survey when the home's completed. Most mortgage companies, now if you're paying cash, you don't, but most mortgage companies are going to want a final survey. In other words, a survey showing the new home and those improvements drawn on a survey to prove that it's in fact on the land. It's not built over the property line or anything like that. And then all improvements are shown. So you'll still have to get that done, but that's close to the end when the driveway basically is finished on the home. But up front, you won't have to have another one as long as we can look at the quarter pins. And even if we can't, sometimes you can call the surveyor and just ask them to go flag it, and they charge a very nominal fee to go flag the corners. It's not the price of a whole new survey.
Great. All right. Well, let's go back into.
Let's go inside. Are we going inside?
Yes, we are going to go inside.
All right. We are going inside the foyer. So looking at kind of the Craftsman Dentile front door. And what kind of flooring are we talking about here?
So this is a wood look ceramic tile that you're seeing here, which is beautiful. One of the most resilient, if you're going for that wood look, but you want to make sure it doesn't get banged up, this is a great way to go.
Super tough. Yeah. And the same reason we went with it in the Canyon model home there in Bryan. It's just, it's just not quite bulletproof, but it's the closest thing. It's tough.
Absolutely. And this is that beautiful family room. Those large windows that you were talking about before give her this amazing, they have the most amazing view on this property. But all that natural light coming in, and like you were mentioning, it's very wide open space, your family room, dining area, kitchen, all together in one. Just absolutely gorgeous.
And yeah, they kind of just went beautiful on the fireplace. This cathedral ceiling going all the way up, those big wood beams.
Yeah, the stone goes all the way up.
Really impressive. Yes. Very impressive look.
And then here's the big, beautiful kitchen. They went ahead and went with the double ovens over on that side wall. So you've got the microwave where over the cooktop over there, but just lots of nice space in this kitchen. I love all the cabinetry because you've got that separate on the wall. You've got that separate countertop area over there, and then the nice
little prep area, buffet almost, and then we got some beautiful glass deco tile in the backsplash.
Yes, the backsplash is gorgeous. The big open island they went with a different color on that cabinetry for the island to kind of add a little bit of an accent to it, but nice, beautiful. And we took these pictures before the shelves are in. Usually you'd have the shelves and that bookcase layout on the end of the islands.
Yep. Looks like they did a farmhouse sink as well. So that's really cool.
Yep. And this is the guest bedroom where they converted that study into a true guest bedroom. So it's got the full bath in there. So you've got they opted to go with the shower instead of the bathtub in that area. And that's just beautiful. It's got the seat and the two shelves within the shower itself to store your toiletries. And
there's your quartz sill. And I really like this is a really clean look. I like the horizontal tile they did. That's really pretty. Yeah. You see the return air here for this because it's a bedroom now. So it's got a return, and then it'll have a supply on the other side. It can help with that pressure balancing, temperature balancing throughout the home. So a little fun, nerdy home builder detail. Don't mind me.
These are the secondary bedrooms, so bedroom 2 and 3, showing the ceiling fan, which is, included in all of our bedrooms. We include a ceiling fan. So.
Yeah. And beautiful view of one of those
Beautiful
century
view.
oaks. Oh yeah. That wouldn't be a bad way to wake up every morning.
And even the view out of the other one's gorgeous when they're not doing, you don't.
I happen to like the look of a Kubota tractor sitting outside my window. I got no issue with that whatsoever. I can wake up to that every morning. No problem.
Gorgeous. Just gorgeous views. And this is the bathroom that the two bedrooms share. So it's got that really long counter. This is the one we were talking about that they did alter from the Jack and Jill. So what they did is on one side of the bathroom, they made an oversized, vanity area with a single sink in the middle. And then you can see, they've got the bathtub and commode.
There's a ton of space too. Yeah. Ton of space.
Yeah, it's a lot of space that they did. And they added that hallway door to give it access as a visiting guest room, because the study would originally have come with a powder room, but by converting that to a full bath, it made it its self-contained guest suite.
Yeah, private access. Very nice. Guys, keep asking your questions in the chat. We are going to get to them, I promise.
Yes.
We'll answer all the questions. Hard ones, easy ones, upside down ones, meaning of life ones.
So here's the master bedroom. Again, beautiful, gorgeous views.
Yeah.
Good, nice size bedroom. You can get some large furniture in here, and you've got the two walk-in closets.
On either side there. Got some casement windows here, so you can crank these open on a nice spring day or fall. Got to watch it by the coast, watch for the mosquitoes, but other than that, and there would be screens on these because they are operable windows. This one is a fixed window, so it wouldn't have a screen.
Right.
It is up to you if you want to leave the screens on there, but we are going to install screens on all the operable windows. Actually, the casements would not have screens. I take that back. I'm very sorry. It would not have screens. It makes it very difficult to open them if they have screens over them. Mind melt. Sorry about that, guys.
It's all right.
Now, what do we got here? This is the crown jewel.
This is just beautiful. They really created a very spa-like experience in the master bath. So I talked a little bit about how we did change the layout in here some, because it would come in the base plan with just the walk-in shower. But what they opted to do is add that large soaker tub. So there is a little bit of added square footage in here to make that work. They also did enlarge the shower some so that the two actually touch each other. And I think one of the most beautiful things in this master is that floor to ceiling glass tile. Yes, just beautiful.
But if I remember correctly, on this customer's Instagram page that she did, she would constantly say things throughout the process of feeding the spirit. So I could tell it's a very, it was a really neat experience for them. About making this whole experience yours and about you and your family it's a really important thing, not just you, but to us as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
And just give a shout out for sharing of the colors over here.
Yes.
So
Kelsey,
Kelsey? Yeah.
Kelsey did this all for us. Since the house was so popular and was being shared, and we were getting a lot of color questions on the pictures that we were posting, we decided to just go ahead and put it on every
it was
slide.
A completely self-serving strategy.
Everybody,
I understand that.
Oh no, I mean, just everybody should know. I thought that would be a good thing to do. So Kelsey took the time to put them up so anybody watching back can see exactly what's in every single room that we're looking at.
I see they ended up taking the tile even on the sides all the way to the ceiling, like they did with it. So just the whole 3 walls of tile going all the way up to the ceiling, just really, really beautiful. Like you said, spa type experience. Still have access to the drain, the warranty mechanical side of Eric coming out here. I like having the access to be able to, access that drain, put a snake in there in case something gets clogged up. Not like an actual snake, like a, plumbing snake. Being able to fix stuff. I like being able to fix stuff. Makes me happy.
Absolutely. Being able to fix it without having to tear your entire bathroom apart is definitely an advantage.
That inevitably is going to get discontinued one day.
Right.
And can't get it. So trying to do little preemptive measures at Tilson Homes to minimize any kind of damage we have to do. And it's just showing that we do stand behind our products. Like we're very serious and deliberate and actually even strategic about how we lay things out because we know we're going to service it. A lot of builders don't think that way. So it's just family tradition, I guess.
Yes. And this is the drop zone area, showing the staircase up to the bonus room. So this is a good area coming in from your garage. Just drop everything off and You've got some storage cabinet, a bench to take off your boots, all that great stuff.
Yeah, and this is how the model is laid out there in Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that on the virtual tour as well.
Yep. And then here's that upstairs bonus space and the powder bath room that's up there.
Very, very cool. Yeah, we've seen a lot of people use it, like I said, hobby room, actual game room for watching TV, craft room. Very, very versatile space. A lot of natural light coming into. Pretty. So now, Dawn,
absolutely.
might we have questions?
I'm sure we do.
I'm sure.
Let's go. Let's go find them. I saw them coming in. So Roberto is asking, their original plans didn't include plumbing for water treatment system, such as water softener and reverse osmosis in kitchen. Can it be added now? His foundation has been poured last week, but no framing started.
The water softener part is going to be tough. That's going to be tough to add at this point because typically you want your hose bibs to be on home runs or be on hard water. So there are plenty of aftermarket companies that do water softeners. So it probably couldn't be added at this point of the build, but there are companies out there that do water softeners after the fact. You just have to know that your hose bibs, your outside water spigots will also be on the soft water. So you wouldn't want to water plants or things like that with them. Because you could kill them with salt water. But you still can't add water softener. I mean, there's water softeners added on 20 and 30-year-old houses, so it can be done. And then reverse osmosis at the kitchen. I mean, I've seen that done. Again, same thing. You can do it after the fact. That's not as critical if you want that to go in just the kitchen space or to go in where water comes into the house. That can be done. I don't know exactly where your water comes in, Roberto. So it may be really, really easy, or maybe kind of difficult if it's coming in on like a 4-inch wall. That might be a little tougher, but on a wall that maybe it's not I don't know if it's going to be in the garage or something like that. Sometimes it's a great place to do it. It's where my brother-in-law did his reverse osmosis in his garage. But he's on a water well, so he felt like that was important to him. But yeah, it's a little late for us to do the water softener or RO stuff since we've already poured the slab, but you probably could still have it done after the fact. Right? You certainly can have it done after the fact.
Absolutely. Jean is sharing that they had our stakeout yesterday in Bryan and are so excited that's happening. Yeah, that's exciting. Thank Fantastic. You. Jessica is asking, are plumbing and electrical crews Tilson owned or contracted out?
Yeah, we use independent contractors. So actually all of the crews pretty well that show up on your job site are going to be independent contractors. So your framers, your roofers, HVAC, electrical, plumbing. Yeah, no, I don't know of any builders that own their own electrical crews, plumbing crews, because you have to be licensed to do those things. Like you have to have a plumber's license, an electrical license, an HVAC license. So we're going to use third-party companies. They're actual companies. They're not just a guy. They have to be licensed. They have to show us their license has to be current. They're licensed through the state of Texas. They also have to carry general liability insurance. All of those trade contractors, actually all of our trade contractors carry liability insurance. So that's not necessarily required by law, but for sure, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC is required by law. They carry general liability insurance. Okay. Great question, Jessica. Thanks.
Runner Dude is asking about porches. He said porches are designed as part of the post-tension foundation. What about the garage floor?
Yes, sir. All of it. Yeah, it's what's called a monolithic slab, which is fancy word for it's all poured at the same time, which means it's all designed as one cohesive unit to move together. Great question.
Great. Jessica's asking how big of a driveway is included in the build.
Depends on where you're building, Jessica. I mean, in some places we include 2,000 square feet. In some places we don't include any. It really depends on where you're building. So I'd reach out to your local design center and based on where you're building, what will be included. But we can do pretty well any size you want. Minimum 500 square feet is what I would recommend if you're going to do one at all. But some customers don't want one at all. They just want crushed rock or crushed concrete drive or asphalt. So.
Okay, makes sense. Robert is asking about the floor. The tile is beautiful. Can it be used as a backsplash or to match each other?
I don't know. Without looking, I don't know if it's a floor tile or a wall tile necessarily. I mean, there are some subtle differences, Robert, between a floor tile and a wall tile. So I'd reach out to your local design center and they can see which Dow tile it is based on this presentation, as well as we already have it in their database, and they can check and see if it can be used on the wall. There are some floor tiles that are too heavy to use as a wall tile. I don't know if this is one of them or not, but there are some. Yeah.
And they can usually help you find something that coordinates close enough that it would work.
Julie, you said coordinate and not match. Thank you.
Yes. Julie is asking if the lights are included in the packages or is it something that they sourced on their own?
I think those lights were part of. They appear to be part of our package. I recognize them. Yeah, I mean the light fixtures I'm looking at. Yeah, those are definitely part of our program.
Yep, that they are. Aaron is saying we only have a couple new homes close by, but we are built over a year ago. Will this cause an issue with the appraisal process? So the houses nearby were built a year ago.
Yeah, Aaron, I don't know until Karen just chimed in. The electrical fixtures were standard. I almost said that. I was going to roll the dice, but they were in fact standard. Okay, so
thank you, Karen.
Yes, thank you, Karen. So only the appraiser is going to know that, Aaron. There's no way to know unequivocally, how it's going to affect the appraisal. Suffice it to say, with as fast as material prices are escalating right now, appraisals are an issue all over the country. They're an issue for building on your land. They're an issue for custom. They're an issue for resales. They're an issue for production subdivision. It's a big issue because they're always going to lag. The other thing is they lag on the way down too. So there's that, but it's just something to be aware of. You may be surprised at what's been built out there within the year that you don't know about. That it could be in the MLS that closed, and they may have to go further out to get comps. That's what he's asking about: is comparable sales or comps that an appraiser can go get to use as what's in the air. But yes, those are some of the things like we talk about in our Build on Your Lot seminar that do affect the value. It's not necessarily what the house costs, particularly these days. It's what the market in the area, what it will bear. So that's to be determined, Aaron. I wish I could give you a more concrete answer, but we don't know.
Well, they also are going to take into account existing homes. They aren't going to just look at new homes when doing your appraisal. True, yeah. So kind of look at is there any like pre-owned home that's selling near you, and what do those comps look like? Because that'll be taken into account.
One of those used COVID-infested homes, if maybe one of those that sold. But yeah, I mean, like Don said, a great point. Resales will count as comps. So if the home was built 20, 30 years ago, but it just sold 4 months ago, that's technically can be used as a comp.
Yeah, and they try to adjust for new house versus old, but that's something they will look at if they can't find new comps. Valerie is saying, how long is the time frame to start the process on home building?
Well, we're telling folks 14 months or so, Valerie. I mean, our average is still below 12 months, but we're telling folks to prepare because of all the supply chain disruptions. You need to prepare for 14 months from the time that you do the initial deposit till the time that you close and move in. The good news is if you use Tilson Homes, there'll be no construction loan that you'll be paying on or have interest accruing on during that time frame. Save a tremendous amount of money. And I would be very leery of any builder telling you that the construction will take less than 9 or 10 months. That's right. In this unpredictable market right now, that's a risk that I'm not willing to tell someone, because we build a lot of houses and we don't have the kind of clarity. So I can't imagine only building 2 or 3 or 5. You don't have the purchasing power to just really big body your way into getting materials, quite frankly.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to be low on the totem pole on getting material. That's just how it is. That's unfortunately the economy that we're in.
Okay. Runner Dude is asking, since you usually put the HVAC furnace in the attic, is anything done to help partially condition the attic space to moderate high attic temperatures?
Well, Runner Dude, the good news is our attics don't really get that hot anymore. So for sure, if I don't know where you're building, but if it's spray foam, then yes, the attic is really not that much warmer than the ambient temperature of the home around it. And even if it's climate zone 2 and we're doing the radiant barrier decking and all of that, we have a lot of passive air. So first of all, you got the radiant barrier that blocks 97% of the sun's radiant heat from getting inside the attic. So that's a big temperature drop already from an ordinary home. And then we have a lot of passive attic ventilation. So the ridge vent running in the entire ridge of the home, the pre-drilled ventilated soffits going all the way around the hardy soffit on the eaves of the home. That's allowing that passive air and that heat to go all the way to the top of the attic and out of the home. So like you can walk into the attic of our Canyon model and it's really not that hot at all. I did some videos in there and I sweat, and it really wasn't that bad in there.
Okay, great. Bill is asking, does the house come wired for cable and phone lines in each room?
Man, I know it does come with the phone line and coaxial. I don't know as far as each and every single room. I don't know that I would necessarily say that. I do know that for sure, like you're going to get a telephone jack. Which actually we're going to use RJ45. It's going to be Cat 5e going to like every bedroom and study, that kind of thing, as well as RG6 coax going to every bedroom and study. I'm looking on the work copy of that. So it is wired for that. And you can go now, but that being said, I don't know what kind of internet you're going to be getting. And it's really best to kind of wait till you're in there and find out from your internet service provider what you really need. Or, if you're going to be streaming or you're going to be doing satellite, we typically terminate those up in the attic because most of our customers are building out in a rural area where they're going to have satellite. So it's terminated up there so they can attach up there and move on. But yeah, it does have Cat 5e and RG6 coaxial in all the bedrooms and study area and master. I'm sorry, the family room, of course.
Okay, perfect. Jeffrey is asking if we can take care of the installation of a water well.
We can, yeah. It depends on where it is. We don't have water well contractors in every single area in which we build, but we can certainly help try and locate them. But in most of the areas we build, we do have connections to water well companies.
Yes. Runner Dude was just clarifying that the garage floor is also part of the monolithic slab.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sure.
As long as it's an attached garage, it is.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. If it's detached, then it's its own baby.
Yes. Yeah.
Still designed by the engineers, though.
All right. Valerie is saying we have to call to make an appointment to speak with a representative of one of your location office in San Marcos or Bernie. Yes, would recommend that you call to make an appointment, and whichever one is just most convenient to you would be the right one to visit, because you will be going back to our design center for all of your plan approvals and color selections and all of that during the process. So make sure we're the one you want to visit most often. Aaron is asking, how does Tilson handle drainage with building on a slope? What's included within the price?
Well, what's included in the price is we have to establish positive drainage away from the house all the way around it. So we have to make sure that when we leave and we're done and you close on your home, that water runs away from the house all the way around. It is the homeowner's responsibility to maintain that over time. So that's what's included in the price. In building on a slope, it's sometimes we have to raise the home if we're building on a slope to get enough fall going on the front porch. Sometimes we're able to do a cut. Like we said earlier in the show today, that the more land you have, kind of the easier it makes that, because you got more room to work the material, work the dirt. Rock can be a little bit of a challenge because it doesn't round very well. It's kind of hard. So bulldozers don't really do a whole lot in rock, or skid steers or anything like that. So it's really dependent on where you're building, Aaron. It does vary around the state. Our start heights vary. How much we include and add a level varies. So it's very, very county specific. So you can get with your design center, find out for what county you're building in, and they can tell you exactly what's included. Okay,
perfect. Charlene is asking, she's getting ready to do her colors and is wondering if there's any way to choose a cabinet color that isn't part of the selection in our showroom.
I doubt it. Yeah, I think we pretty well have everything that Kent Moore offers as far as color wise. But if there's something, we can always ask them and see if there's, to let us know what color you're actually looking at and getting. But typically, if we're showing it, if it's in the design center, that's what's in the program. But if you don't see something that you like, ask us and we'll find out. But I wouldn't promise that we're going to be able to get that.
Okay. And I also don't know, Charlene, if you've explored everything that's in the design center, because we do have the big door samples that are displayed. They also have little smaller color samples that are some additional colors that you might not see up on the main display. So there are a lot of options in the design center. Runner Dude is asking if his garage is detached. Is that garage slab post-tension engineered?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sure
awesome.
is.
All right. And guys, that is the last question I see. Valerie is saying she's making her appointment and she's good to go there. Awesome. So this is last call for questions, guys.
At a different time. We appreciate that very much. And obviously this will be posted to our Facebook and YouTube channels in case you missed something, want to go back and rewatch. So we would love to help you any way that we can. Thank you, Dawn and Kelsey, for putting this together.
Absolutely.
This was a great one. And yeah, if you get, obviously we have a whole lot more content. We've got a YouTube channel. We've got our Facebook page. We got a website, award-winning website. I also, can I humble brag on you? Doesn't matter what you say.
Okay.
So you should know, folks, that you on this now officially one of the 4 finalists for Marketing Professional of the Year in the Texas Association of Builders. So congratulations, Dawn, for being one of the
Thank
finalists.
you.
We won't find out for a couple months, but as far as we're concerned, Marketing Professional of the Year, Decade, Century in Texas. I don't care what anybody says. Thank you, Miss Karen, for letting us share your house.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for documenting the whole process. We've really enjoyed watching you on Instagram. So it's fun.
It was an honor. Thank you for letting us participate.
An honor.
Anyway, so ask us anything you want. We can reach out to us on all of our various channels. Oh, you're getting some congratulations. Put them up there, Dawn. I can't post things.
Okay. I'm pushing the button.
Anyway, yes, congratulations, Dawn. Thank you for everything you've done for our family and our company. So
it's been a pleasure.
You and I think if I'd have told you that 2 years ago you'd be live on Facebook every single week, you would have not.
I would have declined the job. If that had been a condition of employment, it would have been no. So this is very much growth for me. Denise is asking if we're going to broadcast at 11 from now on. I think we're going to try. We try to stick at 2, but we make adjustments because we'd rather come at 11 than not come at all, which was the choice today. So
yeah, Denise, I'm sorry. Dawn is accommodating my schedule. I have some meetings this afternoon that I have to participate in that downtown Houston, blah. Anyway, so
now next week, Denise, we will be on Thursday. Because we are going to be coming, it'll be Thursday at 2. We will be broadcasting live from the Waxahachie Design Center. So I'm really excited about that one. We're going to bring in one of our interior designers to show you guys kind of the updated color selections and some of the options you have. So super excited about that one. So Thursday at 2 next week.
It'll be Thursday at 2 next week. So join us then. Until then, go to our website, go to any of our 11 design centers. We'd love to see you guys, love to hear from you guys. Ask us any questions you like. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And obviously, we really soon hope to make you part of the Tilson family. Until next time.